Tonight, we're talking about the super nutrient coenzyme, or CoQ10, and again, does more than just energy and detox. Let's dive in a little bit to some of the chemistry behind this. Now, I'm not going to get into the depth of chemistry because I don't think you guys might probably fall asleep and start snoring on me if we did. But what I wanted to show you are some basic things. So you see this term right here. It says ubiquinone. Actually, let's just put a circle around it. Ubiquinone is another word for CoQ10. So when you're hearing this term CoQ10, oftentimes you'll see ubiquinone. Sometimes you'll see ubiquinol. And a lot of times they're thrown around and used interchangeably. But I'm showing you this diagram here because what I want you to understand is that this is the biochemical pathway for how we get to CoQ10. And so what I wanted to highlight or point out here is this molecule here, cholesterol. So your body can actually make CoQ10 if we have adequate substrates or ingredients to be able to produce it. And so one of the things that we absolutely need is we need cholesterol in order to properly be able to get to certain nutrients. But specifically, cholesterol and CoQ10 kind of share the same biochemical pathway. So if my point being, let me just erase this and draw a little bit for you. If you are blocking your cholesterol, one of the downstream components to doing that is you're reducing CoQ10. Now, cholesterol, the class of medicines that most people think about when blocking cholesterol are these drugs called HMG-CoA reductase. Okay, I'm getting too biochemical here. I can already hear you guys snoring. HMG-CoA reductase, otherwise known most commonly as statins. So maybe we just call attention to that. So statins block, or basically their mechanism of action is on this enzyme up here, this HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. And by hindering this, they block cholesterol. But also statins, by hindering that, also block your body's ability to make CoQ10. And CoQ10, again, very, very critical for a number of different functions. And so let's talk a little bit. I want to come back to cholesterol in a minute because I think that's important. But I want to talk about some of the functions of CoQ10. So if we're looking at functions of CoQ10, one of the big functions is energy. And that's why CoQ10 deficiency, one of the biggest symptoms is low energy or reduced energy. CoQ10 is really, it's a rate limiting step. So if you think about how your body produces energy from carbs, fats, and proteins, right? Because ultimately we eat food. That food is broken down molecularly, and then we take the hydrogen and the carbon from that food, and we start really, what we're after the hydrogen. So we're peeling the hydrogen off of that food, and we're turning that hydrogen through this system inside of our mitochondria of our cell, and that's how energy is produced. Now, in the body, energy's nickname is ATP. So again, if those of you who have studied maybe chemistry may recognize that term ATP. Energy and ATP are kind of synonymous in the body. So what we're after with CoQ10 is we're after having the ability to generate that energy. Now, energy, some people think energy as in I have energy, and some people are thinking energy as in healing and repair and maintenance. And that's really the way I want you to think about it, because it's not your energy as in your get up and go, your ability to have energy, although CoQ10 plays a role in that. But you need energy in the form of this ATP, especially those of you maybe struggling with chronic illness. You need that energy to heal, to repair, to maintain your tissue. So if your energy deficit, if your body's in a state of energy deficit and you're chronically sick, you won't heal. Your body won't repair injured tissue. you won't maintain the tissue that you have. So in essence, what ultimately ends up happening is you're more prone to injury and you can't maintain your tissue. So you try to do a workout or you try to exercise, and your body can't maintain itself already, and now you're damaging it through the exercise, and so now you end up suffering the subsequent consequences of this inability. Remember, this is what your body needs. And the way I want you to think of ATP, let's just do one more. Think of ATP the way you might think of money in the real world. In essence, if you don't have money, you can't buy food, clothing, you can't buy the things that you need in life to get through life in a realistic way. So in essence, your ability to get through life, in the real world is through money. Well, your body's ability to get through life biochemically is ATP. And when you run out of money or when you run out of ATP, all this stuff starts to suffer. So very, very important that you understand that CoQ10 is kind of the core central theme to how we get to energy. It's what we would like to call the rate limiting step for the production of energy inside of your mitochondria. So if you're out of CoQ10, you're out of luck, really, in that regard. So let's make a little room here. So CoQ10's primary function is one, again, of ATP production or energy. Now I want to come back to cholesterol because so many of you are taking drugs that block cholesterol. And what I want to also point out is that cholesterol, oftentimes referred to as the mother hormone, okay, you can't make progesterone without cholesterol. Guys, you can't make testosterone. Ladies, you can't make estrogen. Okay, you can't make cortisol, which we've talked in depth about cortisol in the past. Its role in being an anti-inflammatory. It regulates blood sugar. It helps you generate energy from the food that you eat. But it's also, sometimes it's a drug that doctors prescribe, right? Corticosteroids. And so think about this for a minute. Let's just ask the question, how many of you in the audience tonight have ever been told that you had high cholesterol? Just say high cholesterol. Type in high cholesterol in the feed there. And of those of you, how many of you have been put on a medication? So how many of you have been medicated? And so if you've been medicated, just type in statin. Let's just get an idea for how many of you. So a lot of people take medicine that blocks cholesterol, and then subsequently downstream, right, reduces your body's ability to produce cortisol, which means you're blocking your ability to fight inflammation naturally in your body. Now, so you're taking that medication, and then you start to develop, which many people do, they start to develop chronic pain. And then a lot of times, what does the doctor do? The doctor prescribes a statin, okay, to lower the cholesterol. Then over time, person develops inflammation, myalgia, muscle pains, things of that nature. These are common side effects of statins. And then the doctor prescribes a steroid to treat the pain that's caused as a result of taking the medication. So you could see here, if you just stop up here and just start asking the right question, which is, do we really need to actually lower the cholesterol, or is that just something that a lot of doctors are after? But so my point is, look at all the individuals that take statins, and then you look at all the individuals who are on statins who end up on steroids or also end up on some type of hormone replacement therapies, okay, for testosterone or estrogen, when we know that blocking cholesterol through statin use can affect your sex steroids, also can affect your CoQ10, again, which is what we're talking about tonight. And so, I want you to see kind of the complete picture of how that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Hey, don't forget to check out the rest of the series right here. Make sure you hit subscribe below. And as always, thanks for tuning in.